Hey guys, welcome to Ask Matt Lloyd. So today's question this is a very good question, and I'll almost guarantee that at some point maybe you have this question too. I know I certainly did when I was starting out. So let me read this for a second. So this is from Akalan Balu. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But the question is, how can I honestly present myself as successful to my subscribers when I have not yet had any sales? Okay, so it's a good question. How do you put yourself out there as this big successful guru if you can't even make your first sale yourself? Have you ever wondered that? I wondered that for a long time when I started. You probably heard me say this before, but it took me 9 months before I ever made my first dollar online. That was after I had invested $40,000 into another company back in 2009. So I would do all the things that you're probably doing. I started to build my own email list. I started to get subscribers. And in the back of my mind, every time that I made a video or I sent out an email, I was thinking to myself, how do I tell these people that they can make this money or they can be successful online when I can't even get my first sale? How do I do that? What I did is I started to realize that, number one, my results have nothing to do with their results. Okay, so if their goal, the people on my list and my audience, if their goal is to get up and running in a business and do well, my results have no impact on whether they're going to be successful or not. Obviously, if I'm a successful affiliate marketer, then yes, I might be able to offer them more advice and help them get up and running faster. But at the end of the day, everyone has to take full responsibility for their own results. And if someone's going to be successful online, rarely is it because of you, the person who introduced them to whatever offer you're promoting. Rarely is it solely your responsibility. Okay, it's actually their responsibility. Let me make a point and listen very carefully to this, because there's a really important lesson in this. So the month this would have been October of 2008. I was brand new to internet marketing. I knew absolutely nothing about it. I didn't know domain names, hosting, WordPress. I knew nothing. Didn't know what affiliate marketing was. Anyway, I saw an ad one day, and it said in the ad that I could learn how to make all of this money online. And naturally, I was curious. I thought, okay, that would be nice, but it's probably a scam. Okay, that's what I thought. So I became a lead for someone. Okay, I filled out a form. There was this one-page website where there's this guy and he's saying, I can teach you how to be successful online. I can teach you how to generate an income. I filled out the form. I put in my name, email, phone number, and all of his questions. About 24 hours later, the next day, this guy calls me back, and I had almost forgotten about filling out the form in the first place. And he says to me, you filled out the form, what's got you interested in starting a home business? And he proceeds to interview me. And I must have been about 21 at the time, and in the back of my mind I thought, okay, this guy kind of sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And then he invited me to this webinar, and I didn't even know what a webinar was back then. And I thought, okay, well, I'll go along to it. I kept on missing the webinar, and after 2 weeks he called me back and he said he was quite, at the time I thought he was kind of rude about it, but now I know what he was doing. He said to me, look, you either need to get on this next webinar or let's forget about working together. Okay, so I kind of got the point. I went to the webinar then and I listened to it. And this whole webinar was a sales pitch for this business model that they were doing. Again, this is back in 2008. And I was interested, but I wasn't yet ready to buy. So he calls me back and he says, look, I want to introduce you to one of the top earners in this company. Her name is, I forget her name, and she's earning $50,000 a month. And I thought to myself, wow, 50 grand a month, she must be pretty successful. Now, I was so new at this point that I didn't know that what they were doing was called the three-way call. It's a sales technique. Okay, so she's got more experience in the business. She's going to come on the call and close the lead, which was me. So this big $50,000 per month earner comes on the phone. I'm talking to her. I'm a little bit kind of starstruck. And I tell her that I've got my 17 questions. Okay, I've written them all out on a piece of paper. And she kind of makes fun of me a little bit for that. Oh, okay, you got 17 questions. Okay, well, let's hear them. And I go through my 17 questions, and at the end, she attempts to close me, okay, to say, all right, make a decision, you need to buy. And I was almost ready to go ahead with it, but something just didn't feel right, okay? We just didn't have a match. That's kind of how I felt. It just didn't really feel right. A few days later, I'm still kind of thinking about it, I filled out a form for another lady on her website. Okay, this is someone else saying that they can show me how to get started online. Now, this lady, her name, I remember her name, it was Lisa. Lisa lived in Australia, and I liked the look of Lisa, okay? She just seemed like someone I could kind of relate to. I filled out the form. She calls me back, and her phone manner was completely different to the $50,000 per month earner. I felt comfortable with Lisa. She was from a farm. I was from a farm. She had horses, and she told me about her horses. And I felt comfortable with her. And she was in a competing company, okay? And she told me how much it was to get started, and there was no pressure. I just felt comfortable with Lisa. So I ended up sending her about $2,000, okay? Now, here's the funny part. I found out later that Lisa had never made a sale in her life. I was her very first sale, and I was her only sale. About 2 weeks later, she disappeared. Okay, she quit the business. I never really heard from her after that point. Who knows what she's doing today? And I seriously doubt she knows what became of me. Okay, if I always kind of wondered to myself, I'd love to show her what we've done with Mobe, and what she potentially missed out on. She could have made a lot of residual income. But the moral of the story is I chose to work with someone who'd never made a sale before over a $50,000 per month earner. Do you need to have results to get sales in this business? The answer is no. Now, did my mentor or my sponsor back then, Lisa, did she need to have results for me to become successful? Well, obviously not. She made one sale, and that's all she ever made. And I did just fine. Okay, 5-6 years later, tens of millions of dollars in revenue later on, I've done just fine. You know why I did fine? Because I decided that I was going to do well. Okay, I as an individual decided that I was going to do well. Your subscribers, all the people that you're marketing to, whether they're going to do well or not, at the end of the day, it comes down to them. It's got nothing to do with you. You can help show them a few things. You can help them avoid some mistakes. You can help show them some good products and good marketing systems. But at the end of the day, you can't make them successful. So what I'm saying to you is your results are largely irrelevant. Okay, they are largely irrelevant. They do not really matter at the end of the day. And here's the opposite side of that. Guess what? If you've never made a sale online before, there's two ways of looking at that. You can say to yourself, well, I'm not successful. I don't know how to become successful, therefore I have no value to offer. On the other side of that coin, you can say, well, look, I've been studying this stuff now for 3 months. I've learned a lot. I've made a ton of mistakes. I've found 50 ways that, I found the 50 wrong ways. And if I can help someone avoid doing those 50 wrong things, I'm offering value, which you are. Okay, so all the mistakes that you made up until this point, if you can help your subscribers avoid those mistakes, you're giving value. Okay, that's valuable information that will help them. Okay, so hopefully that clears up a few things, but just know that your results really don't matter. And the last part of advice that I'm going to give you is, if you don't have results yet, find successful case studies of whatever product you're promoting, okay? Let's say you're promoting the Mobe affiliate program. You could start writing emails and you showcase all the top earners in Mobe. You talk about their backgrounds, what they've done now, how much money they made, and you show them as, here's a successful case study, a successful product of the product, someone who's got results from using this same marketing system or the same product that I'm now offering to you. Okay, so you leverage their results. Your results really don't matter. Okay, so hopefully that helps. I'll see you in the next episode.